In this part of the demo, we're going to be looking at Sally and Tim and your roles as digital marketers and the goals and challenges that you're currently going through. So, obviously, we've spoken about a few of those goals, one of them being creating 50 new marketing qualified leads per month. But right now, you've got no way of currently defining what a marketing qualified lead is. Once you've have found those leads, getting them into the hands of the sales team within 24 hours is going to be really crucial. But again, because you don't know at the moment what is a good marketing qualified lead, it's taken about a week to go through all those different leads, thousands of those leads, just to find that one lead, which is like looking for a needle in a haystack. And of course, we spoke about that need of yours to really create a more personalised, relevant marketing approach. But again, there are some problems that are stopping you from being able to achieve that, namely the lack of data, which is really stopping you from being able to send that personalised and relevant communication. So in the demo today, what I'm going to do is focus on those areas just to show you how we can make life easier for you. So if you just bear me 1 second before I jump into my other screen. So, for Sally, Tim, it's totally understandable that you're struggling to sort through those thousands of leads to work out which are the right ones to pass to the sales team. You must be thinking to yourselves at the moment, how would I know which of those thousands of leads are actually ready to buy? Now, what I'm going to talk to you about now is the ability for you to utilize lead scoring, which is ultimately going to act as your 24/7 digital detective. You set this up. You set this up based on your own parameters, what's important to you, and automatically anyone that meets that criteria, we're going to add that score. And ultimately, as I say, it's going to act as your digital detective. So for you, Sally and Tim, you're not going to have to use spreadsheets to start tracking all of this and start applying those scores to any of those leads. We're going to do it automatically for you. Now, you're probably also thinking to yourselves, well, that's great. I've got these scores, but actually, how do I start to recognize actually who meets that criteria? Well, the way you're going to be able to do that is through segmentation. And just to explain this for you, Sally and Tim, you've got the ability now to create segments exactly based on your own criteria. So you might simply be interested in, who are my net new leads, who are my MQLs. You've most definitely got the ability to do that. But the beauty of segmentation, it allows you to go much deeper. So you can see some examples here of some different segments that we've created for you. So looking at the bit different buying stages, rather than just looking at net new leads, we're also looking at top, middle, and bottom of the funnel, as well as MQLs. And ultimately, this is going to do this automatically for you. You set the criteria, and we're going to start to tell you automatically in real time actually who meets that criteria. So I'll use an example of Andy. Andy's a net new lead. Yesterday, Andy came to your website, signed up for an account. You might decide, that warrants giving a lead score. Might be a fairly low lead score, maybe no lead score at all. So straight away now you've got in here identification that Andy exists in one of those stages. Now, what you've then got the ability to do, as I say, once you are creating those segments, is allow Andy to be passed through those different segments, in this case the top, middle, bottom of the journey. So as you and Tim are creating different marketing assets, web pages, etc., those are being scored, and automatically Andy's being passed through to the next stage of the journey. So I mean, yesterday Andy could have been that cold lead. Tomorrow you go in and actually Andy's a really hot lead. He's engaged with all those different assets that you're scoring, and Andy's now in that MQL bucket. So where you were having to spend a week to find Andy, that needle in a haystack, this is actually turning that needle in a haystack into immediate visibility of who meets that criteria for you. So you're not having to roll out those Excel spreadsheets. You're not having to run any algorithms for you. So ultimately, for you, Sally and Tim, you can narrow down that messy list of 1,000 plus leads right down to those high value targets, literally at a click of a button, automatically in real time. As I say, no Excel formulas, etc. needed. You've automatically got those targets at your fingertips. So that's segmentation. Hopefully, this gives you an idea now of actually how we can start tracking, how we can start making lives easier for you in terms of that goal of not only creating those new marketing leads, but how to define them, but also how to easily find them. What I want to talk to you about now is actually how we can start feeding those leads through the funnel, and also going back to your point in terms of that personalized approach. So what I'm going to talk about now, Sally and Tim, is what we'd recommend now as the next step on that journey is automating the workflow, the information that each one of your leads are going to receive. I'm talking about this from a lead generation point of view. You can also look at this from an existing customer point of view as well, if you wanted to. So Sally, Tim, you've now built your lead score, you've built your segments, you're identifying the right audience. What you may want to then do is start building out the program flows that are applicable for each one of those audience members. So you're now not sending the same email to everybody. Potentially every one of your leads is going to receive different messaging based on where they are in the journey. So highly personalized, highly relevant, highly bespoke to that individual person. So as you can see, you might want to drop people into the brand awareness if they're net new. You might want that bottom of the funnel content as they're getting more familiar with you. I'll talk about this in a minute, but this would be one of the final steps of the process for you. Is that MQL to SQL and what you can do with that as you go through. So again, Sally and Tim, just going back to that challenge you had in terms of that much more personalised, relevant marketing approach that you were looking for. You can do that with automation. So within here, you can build out your automations. These are where we can start to drip feed information to the relevant leads contacts. We'd certainly recommend doing different funnel stages for you. So again, it's going to highly personalize that approach for each one of your leads contacts based on where they are in the buying journey, where they are based on those lead scores that you've created. So in here, I've got a couple of emails. You can run those emails exactly how you want. It could be one-offs. You could create different branching for them. So you've got the ability to run those different flows. Should you want to do so. So that's one area where we can start to personalize. Another area where we can personalize is actually within the email itself. So not only are we going to personalize actually when and what that person receives, we can even start to personalize actually what the content of that message is as well. So you may want to personalize, name, any details that you've got stored about the person, last order date as an example. You can even start to decide actually, do we not want to show certain information within that email. So I've got a start free trial here. If someone's already signed up for the free trial and you send it, that's not relevant. It's not personalized. We know they've already done it. So why ask them to start a free trial when they've already done it? So you may choose to actually hide that from those people. Again, making it highly personalized. This email is built for that person. It's not built for thousands of other people. This is entirely built for them. Right message, right time. Now, the value of that, and I'll come back to this a little bit later on, is that you are going to get big results from this. You can expect to see with the strategy that I've spoken to you about already, Sally and Tim, in terms of you building your own lead scores, your segments, your journeys, your messaging. You could expect to see, increases in open rates by about 40%, simply down to the fact that you're now highly personalized, highly targeted, highly relevant messaging. And again, if you are looking to get those leads in terms of salespeople, this is going to allow you to get those conversions, a lot quicker and a lot more effectively. And again, with very little work needed from your point of view in terms of doing it. And again, the impact on the customers is going to be huge as well. They are going to be impressed that you're serving that right message, right time to them, and it's relevant to them rather than that irrelevant communication they may have been getting before. So hopefully that gives you a nice idea from a personalization point of view what can be achieved, and obviously from that point in terms of not only creating those leads but now being able to qualify them. Let's also now talk about that goal you've got in terms of getting those leads into the hands of the salespeople. Again, one of those problems that you had was that you're having to check those leads taking a long time to get into the hands. As mentioned a moment ago, with the segmentation, we are going to do that straight away for you. We're going to spot those MQLs automatically for you. You choose your criteria, we're going to spot them, you're going to know who they are. Now, the benefit of that for you is that in any of those programs, you may want to start incorporating the CRM into that. So once that MQL is spotted, once that person hits that MQL status that you've got, you can now automatically, and again, this is not going to need any manual intervention from you, you can automatically pass that new lead into the CRM. You may want to add an opportunity into the CRM. You can add a task into the CRM. Now, the big benefit of this is that now you're not only making lives easier for yourselves and making it relevant to the customers, you're also making it easy for your salespeople as well. Now, that salesperson is never going to receive that lead too early. They may return it back to you, bad taste in the mouth that they've received that lead too early. They're never going to receive it too late, and that's really important, because if you receive that lead too late, that lead may have already gone to one of your competitors, so they're never going to receive that lead too late. They're going to receive it exactly at the right time that you deem is qualified. Now, they're not going to suddenly see all of these leads appearing into the CRM and don't know why. Because you create the task, you can proactively inform them that lead has been created. All of the marketing activity is going to be provided within the CRM. So when Jim jumps into the CRM and sees that Andy has been created, he now knows why Andy has been created in the CRM. He knows that Andy has passed through the different sales stages. Andy has now met that MQL lead score that you've determined the threshold. He can also see all of Andy's prior marketing activity as to why that built up into that lead score that you've created, and why you've determined that Andy is now an MQL. So from Jim's point of view, he can now work more efficiently as well. We're now starting to increase the efficiency and the alignment between the sales and marketing team, which can only be a win-win on both sides of the fence as well. And of course, from Jim's point of view, he's now only being sent leads that are qualified, which gives him a much better chance of converting those into opportunities into one deal. So again, hopefully from his point of view, there's a big benefit of doing this. So ultimately, again, just going back to those goals that you mentioned, Sally and Tim, in terms of creating the new leads, getting them into the hands of the sales team quicker, and that personalized approach. Hopefully, you've got a good idea of that from what you've seen now. But just to summarize it from my point of view, you are going to increase the efficiency. Both of you now are not going to have to spend those 37 hours a week on manual lead routing. We're going to do that automatically. You set up the lead scores, you set up the segmentation, you set up the rules. We're going to do all the hard work for you. That's 37 hours you've got back in your day. Relevance, as I mentioned earlier, you are going to get now higher open rates by serving that relevant information to the right leads, to the right contacts. That's going to start to increase those open rates by about 40%. So with that, obviously that becomes a much greater chance of people feeding through the funnel, and again qualifying into marketing qualified leads, or even happy customers and upsells for those existing customers. And third, but by no means the least important, is revenue. Because you are now providing Jim and the rest of the sales team with qualified leads, they're able to spend 100% of their time on qualified leads, not on leads that are passed too early, passed too late. So as I say, that should give them a much better chance of converting that lead into a deal. So from your point of view, Sally and Tim, now this is going to really allow you to expand your roles. You're not going to just be digital marketers anymore. You're going to be a revenue driver within the organization, and it's going to allow you to focus on those areas and how you can improve, and not having to focus on those challenges, and allow you to meet those goals. And this is all courtesy of the marketing automation and the ability to do more with less.